didn't know when we're live.
We're live right now.
Right. Is it being recorded? Oh, and you're recording it too?
Yes, of course. Of course. Oh, look at everybody coming on. So, all right. We got some
join us. Come
pumped up
join
people today. I've been getting messages all morning, Roland. I mean, people are like, this is a very hot topic for people.
Well, good. Yeah. We're going to talk about how to to thrive in this great market. How do you deal with it? It's not sales training so much as, creating that wonderful experience. That's great.
I feel like my minor in psychology has been very beneficial because a lot of my coaching sessions, I feel like what I'm doing is just kind of giving people some coping mechanisms and how to deal with stress. And
no, I think EQ is what's needed right now. That idea that emotional intelligence is really somewhat trumping IQ to get through this. I think you really got to be smart that way, and putting your arm around a salesperson and helping them through being really busy. It's different.
It is very, I've been brought in before to slow down sales, but I feel like this.
I know you brought in to slow down sales. That's a new thing.
Yeah, that was a very unique situation. That was years ago.
Cooler.
So
they call them cooler in Vegas. If you come in and you cool somebody down that's on a hot street, you're officially a sales cooler.
I tell people I can ride the brake and the gas at the same time. So it's very interesting. Look at some of these rock stars. We have Myers Barnes.
Myers is there. Oh my gosh, Myers, how are you?
That's an audience member for you. How's that for an endorsement?
I want to hang out with my friend Myers.
Yes, Myers, thank you so much for being out. We have Patty Guthrie on here, the legendary person who runs the Aurora Awards in Florida and has her own Patty Guthrie Interiors, and she's helping me out. So Patty, welcome.
You come to my house, Patty. I need a little bit of cleaning up here.
So, and Terry has her hand up. So are you saying hi, Terry, or you have a question for us?
Oh, nice. Terry,
so feel free to join in the chat, everybody, and we're going to give people, it looks like we still have more coming on. So.
Hey, Terry. Terry used to, we worked together at London Bay Homes back in Sarasota. Now she's running her own team and doing an amazing job. She's a superstar luxury home realtor with her own team. So I'm very proud of her.
Oh, well, wow. Well, welcome, Terry. So
she's also wasting away. I see on Facebook, she's getting thinner and thinner. I want to know her secret.
Some people have added the 20 pounds and some people have taken off the 20 pounds during the pandemic. So
I'm constantly fighting the buzz. If I stand back though, I look way thinner. Look, there we go.
It's all about camera angles, Roland. So I don't know what happens when I go back out in the real world. So I haven't really, I have to say I've been so busy with moving twice this year that I've managed to not be bored enough to put on 20 pounds, thank goodness. But I certainly haven't lost 20 pounds either. So I'm going to have to get started on that.
Yeah, I'm fighting it constantly. I've got the Barbara Streisand soft lens going right now to help a little bit.
Is that helping? I see. Maybe I need that. So, well, I'm sure people are still going to continue to come on. We got a really good group. So welcome everybody. If you haven't joined us for Head to Head before, you're in for a real treat. This is something that actually Myers helped me to kick off and make a thing in December. Who knew it was going to be a thing? So it's not a podcast, it's not a webinar. So it's a conversation, guys, and you are invited to participate. We invite you to type your questions and comments into the chat. We want you to be a part of it. So it's best when you view it live, but we are recording. Yep. And I will be sending out the recording, so you'll get that by tomorrow. It usually takes about 24 hours for everything to process through and to go through its various cycles, but you should get a link to that. We'll have it up on YouTube. We'll have our contact information and any links that we reference as we talk. We'll make sure all of that is embedded in the videos as well. So please share, invite others to attend, and Roland, welcome to Head to Head. So
thank you very much. The first thing I got to notice is, why is my head so much more enormous than your head? How come you're little tiny on the screen? My head is enormous.
It's all about camera angles. I'm telling you, and the lighting, and all of that.
The most important thing today is to figure out why my head is so much bigger. Anyway.
So you want to, I know you probably need no introduction here, but you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've got going on?
I was born a poor person in England. Is that? How far back? Yeah, well, I
Let's
think
don't go that far. We only have an
Oh,
hour. Yeah.
okay, good. Yeah, so there we go. Most people know that I'm an active sales trainer. Fortunately, I've got clients all around the country that are selling many homes, like everybody right now. So that's a wonderful thing. So coach and trainer. The most exciting thing, or the thing I'm most excited today, as we were talking, is that we are officially announcing today. Today is the first day. We're announcing that I'm hosting a sales and management training experience on the beach. In Hollywood Beach, Florida, in October. Most of your audience, I think, are from Florida, so that's while it's appealing, it's not quite the same. When you're up north in October, it's really cold and chilly. So it's a sales and management retreat, October 12th through 15th. Thank you for bringing it up. That's amazing, at Margaritaville. And the emphasis is on relaxation while you learn. Everyone's been through a heck of a year. Really, the last 2 years, right, have been exhausting. We've gone through so much. We are getting the great reward of massive amounts of sales, which we're going to talk about. So it's a nice reward to come down to Florida in October. I checked already, the ocean temperature in October is 83 degrees, just so you know. But it's not just me, it's my best friends, some of my best friends. There's more that can still come, but so far, it's a cadre of speakers. For the sales training, I'm going to be joined by Quint Lears and Tom D'Addario, who I work with, is an expert on talking of EQ and NLP, neuro-linguistic program. So we are going to work on emotional intelligence and emotional selling as well as everything. Then I've got Mike Moore, the amazing motivator, coming in from California to motivate everybody. Anya Christensen, who's amazing. Everybody knows her. She's going to talk about marketing and social media. Molly Elkman, the owner of Group 2, will be joining us. The famous Kimberly Mackey.
I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, you're going to be here on the management. You're going to zoom in because you'll be at NHB that day, I think.
I should be in Houston if we're traveling again. Yeah. So, but that's okay. I'll take time out from Houston to join you.
Perfect. So you're going to zoom in and join Quint and talk about the importance of working with realtors, even in this great market, how we have to be loyal to them and things you can do. Jane Ma, the famous Jane Ma, we'll be talking about design studios and how to think retail, along with Lita Dirks. For those that don't know Lita, she's a great interior design, has her own team in Colorado. Elizabeth Linnett is an interior designer locally. Alex Udine works at Group 2, and she'll be talking to us about online sales counseling. And then very, very well-known, respected, some of the best in the industry, Matt Riley and Kevin Oakley will be joining us as well to talk marketing. Whew.
That's a power lineup.
Isn't it a power lineup? Yeah, I really think it's going to be amazing. So not only do you get to come to the beach hopefully with your whole sales team and relax and put your toe in the ocean and enjoy. We're going to have rooftop music on the second day by the pool. Look at this amazing lineup of speakers that we can learn from. So let's de-stress and detox and refresh.
And there's yoga, right? You said yoga?
There's sunrise yoga, yeah. You might get to see me out there on the beach at sunrise chanting away, but it's all about.
Wait, are we going to see you in spandex?
Well, I have Speedos, but I think I'm gonna spare you that. Yeah.
Oh my! I may stay in Houston.
Oh, I was supposed to play the music. Cue the music. That's what's messing with my phone. I do have permission from Margaritaville. Oh, let's leave the right song. There it is. That's it. Well, thank you for. Oh, I don't know what's going on. I've lost control of my phone. Stop. Good songs, but okay. Stop.
Oh no, Roland's phone is going insane. So see, Roland's phone is super excited about this event. So I'm happy to join you, and I really appreciate you joining me today. So
let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going.
I didn't want to hold off the audience. I don't normally promote, but I'm very excited about that and having anybody that would like to come down and join us. So yeah.
So the link for that was on there. It'll be in the follow-up email, so I'll make sure that it gets in there for you. And I promised the Atlanta Home Builders Association that I would also put a nice little plug in for this program that I'm doing for them on April 22nd. And it's going to be really interesting, Roland. I'm doing a hybrid event where part of the people are going to be on Zoom and part of them are going to be live. So
I love it. Well, that's what we're perfect. That makes total sense to leverage the technology. But what a great home builder association. Congratulations.
That's a good one. So you can go to atlantahomebuilders.com to to sign up and just go to the events. But yeah, we're going to be talking about elevating your relationships. So
very clever.
yeah, because I think all of us are just feeling just incredibly overwhelmed right now. And I know everybody that I'm talking to, that's that they just are, it's too much. So let's start by talking about what is going on in the market out there. So what are you seeing as you're talking to your clients?
Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, I think you're seeing the same thing we're all seeing. Every builder I work with, and I have them all over the country, are saying that they are swamped. Everyone is busy. And while everyone is very grateful to be that busy, I mean, it's a nice problem to have because let's face it, many of us were selling back in 08 and, you know, through the Great Recession. So the problem now is that we're selling so well and all the things that come with that. And obviously what's creating it is what? High demand. I guess people during COVID decided that they didn't like their current situation, so that created massive dissatisfaction. You know, to why, and then you've got this low supply, and these low interest rates is the Powerball kicker, I like to call it. So with that trifecta of high demand, low supply, and low interest rates is creating this frenzy. You know, we have builders.
Not to mention the millennials coming out of the woodwork.
Is that what it is too? That I didn't even think about. Good
for them. The millennials are totally like diving into the market for the first time. You know, it took them a while to decide they wanted to participate, but
they deserve a home too. Exactly. Yes, we love our millennials. They're amazing salespeople that are millennials. But yeah, so that's what's going on, right? Is that people? We have a builder in Charlotte. It's now Empire Homes. It used to be Shea Homes, and people are back to lining up. They have a small release of about 3 homes, I think, a month in each neighborhood, due to price increases, due to this land situation, and people are literally camping out again to get it, which is not very healthy. So you know, but that's where we're at in some places. That's in Charlotte and all throughout, you know.
All of my builders are still doing that virtually. I don't have anybody that actually is camping out, but we're with lotteries and VIP lists and. You know, that's a whole other thing to talk about when you start talking about, you know, how do you manage a VIP list and not damage your brand, right?
Right. Well, I think it's a great topic. You know, I have the builders I work with, we have a mastermind group, and they actually talked that through last month with tips that they're doing on how to host it virtually, or really it's a hybrid. I think most of them are doing. They're starting off virtual where they'll go to an e-calendar and pick out their appointment time, and then they'll have slots where they come in by themselves to make sure that you know that they want to go forward with a home and a home site and can lock in that price perhaps at that day, whatever. But yeah, it takes a lot of skill, I think, and finesse to do it in a way where not only do you help get the sales, but you're creating a positive experience for the client so they don't feel like just another number or cattle. I think that's what builders did in the last great build up, where they treated people so badly, and then karma is a terrible thing. You know, we had that big crash right afterwards, but it's an important thing to avoid that, I think, and make sure we create a good experience, even if it is a grand opening.
I think what you just said there is really important. I mean, karma is, you know, we know what karma is, right? So I think we have to really pay attention to that because I am seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing people not returning phone calls. They're overwhelmed or they don't have anything to sell. So they're just not even bothering to call people back. You know, not being able to deal with maybe having to deliver some bad news or that construction has been delayed or, you know, any of those things. So we're going to dive into a whole lot of that today because that seems to be where the questions are coming from. And I see Lisa's contributing over here on the chat, and I encourage you guys. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, Lisa is from that New York market as well, which has been very, very strong. And her role is as a realtor managing sales for different builders. So it's a great business model. Her and her team are excellent at selling homes for builders and guiding them through the whole process. So yeah, they have a whole set of challenges being that realtor. So there we go.
So, you know, and some of the last 2 weeks, things have slowed. And I don't know that it's price increases, but it's also that people are just getting frustrated and they're popping out of the market, and we don't want them to pop out of the market indefinitely.
All right.
So I think it's really important that we manage our brands. And even if you don't have anything to say to them, call them and tell them that.
Right. Well, it's a great point. So I did a program. I've been doing a program with all the builders I work with on exactly this topic, and we're talking about how to create a great experience in this market, because you really can't focus on increasing sales is a little odd, right? There's not much you can do. Our builders are saying, no, you have to you either not selling at all right now, or we have slots that are available. You can sell 2 or 3, out a year or whatever. So sort of dealing with that. So what we've been preaching is focus on the experience for the clients, both new ones coming through your pipeline and ones that you've already sold to. That now's a perfect time to practice creating that great experience. Not only are they going to be happier, but of course that's going to lead to referrals, and you'll create the habits. Probably you and I, when we sold, I was selling back in the 1940s and 1950s.
I might have been a bit
Way. You look
after
so
you,
young.
but yeah.
No, there we go. No, but when I was selling really actively in the 90s and early 2000s, in 2000s, and I went back recently and was selling as well. But all those habits that we should be doing in managing our backlog, is very, very important. So if you're sold out right now, then why can't you go out and walk your homes every week? The ones that you've sold to, sold and check on them, and then communicate with your clients and let them know what the status is. And especially, what we're finding is that the salesperson could sell a home, and it might be 2 or 3 months before they can even get into the design studio to make selections. Well, I don't know about you, but I get angry like at weird moments, like just something people I shouldn't talk about that, but we get angry. It's an irrational thing. Something will trigger it. So, but if I hear from my salesperson every Wednesday, every Friday, just with an update, like, don't worry, we are working on your file. We will let you know whatever it is, photographs that you send to them, that kind of stuff. If I hear from the salesperson, I'm fine. But if there's long silences and all of a sudden that client hits 5 weeks, or who knows what length of time, all of a sudden that day they hear a rumor about something, somebody else got something that they didn't, and they get mad. So how do you avoid that? You focus on the experience and how can you really serve your clients in the way that we should have been anyway. How can you have more time now, because most salespeople don't have a lot to sell. It's the faucet has been restricted, right? So now is a good time to focus. What do you think, Sarah?
And I think you have to use time blocks. So
Okay.
go ahead and schedule the time in your calendar to do the follow-up. So I'm going to follow up with all of my customers that are at this stage on Tuesday, and on Thursday, then I'm going to do this, or, whatever your days are, and break it down. But as Roland said, I think you have to make it systematic.
Right.
And if you have a system, it's easier to follow. But schedule an appointment with yourself, and then don't break that appointment with yourself.
Right.
Because that's the other thing, is we schedule an appointment with ourselves, and then somebody calls and we're like, "Ooh, bright shiny object," right? And we go do whatever the other thing is.
It's more fun to do something else, right?
Right. Yeah. No. Schedule that time with yourself as if it were you were sitting down. You would make that appointment if you were going to write a contract.
Yeah, because it's true. I'm an acronym guy. So when I created this program I did called GREAT, created a great market, the G is for gratitude. The R is relate. You have to relate with people. E is empathy. A is attitude. And then T is trust and teamwork. So you're building trust with your client and teamwork within your company, which we'd love to get into in a little bit. So if you go out and walk your homes on a regular basis, and then you spot something that's not right, which is going to happen, as you increase sales, right? With the amount of people in the market, timelines are getting longer, prices are going up, mistakes are being made. It's just it has to happen. It's an inevitable thing. Excuse me. But if you get ahead of that and let the client know, look, I was out in your home. I did see some flooring out there that's not the right one. Don't worry, it's not going to get installed. We already know about it. The client will, well, thank you. I can live with that. If they go out there, even though they aren't supposed to, I know for insurance or not, but they do.
But they do.
They do. Saturday morning, you'll see them running away like, oh, they just saw their home, whatever. Anyway, the point being that if they catch that, then they feel like they've caught you at something that you didn't know about, and now that whole trust is broken. And so that, that's my thought process behind doing that actively. I remember doing this with Terry in Sarasota. We'd walk through the homes that she had sold and would make notes. We'd have the file with us, and there were things we caught. There was one time some doors weren't going in from the owner's suite out to the patio, and the block was already up. So we called the builder and said, "I think that's a mistake. Can you double check?" And it was, and we could fix it. And when the buyers found out, they were very happy that we were on top of our files that way. So mistakes are going to happen. I would always apologize for that. But if you get there first, then the client's okay with it. If they find out about it, then that trust that you've spent 3 to 6 months building is now broken immediately. So, and it's hard to get that back.
It is. I would encourage people to use some technology as they're doing that.
Yes.
So we have all experienced that we can be on video. So I think salespeople, that's one of the breakthroughs that this pandemic caused, is we can all do video.
If you and I can do it, look, then
anybody can do it, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect, but this is one of those times when it's a great thing to go out when you're walking the home site and walking the home. Take your video, make a couple of little comments, and then send that in a text message.
Wow.
Done, follow up, done with that customer. And they see that you're looking out for them. They see you on site. So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So, do it at the same time.
There are a couple of apps for that, right? There are a couple of apps
of course,
that you can look into and so forth. But that's a really great idea. I think if you get over the concept that you have to be perfect on camera and that you can stammer and, laugh and make a joke or whatever, it doesn't have to be this perfect video every time. It's quite liberating. And your clients would love to hear that. I know where I worked for this custom home builder, every Friday was blog day, but the builders would send the updates with pictures of the homes, and the clients got addicted to that kind of, if they didn't get their blog by about 4 o'clock, they were calling the office going, "Where's my blog? I want to make sure everything's okay." But it's fun for them, and it keeps them away too. That way they don't have to visit as well. So that's a good one.
Yeah, they trust. It just builds that trust. And the problems that we are having right now with the price increases and the never ending notices of delays or products that we can't get. Now I'm told anything with a resin involved in it, which is everything.
Okay.
Because of the freeze that we had in Texas, that crazy freeze back a few weeks ago. Now we can't get anything with a resin. So you can't get you can't get OSB, you can't get anything with radiant barrier. Might as well forget it.
Yeah.
We already have lumber is 180% of what it used to be. So once you start a home, it's almost like this never ending. Right. I got a call and I've got to give people bad news, but if there's that foundation of trust.
Yes. Yeah, which
people don't freak out as much.
Right, and since we're chatting, there's some tips. What I want to make sure that we don't lose this. In as busy as we are, it's easy to sort of become transactional, and people are just a number. So 30 a sale this year or whatever. So that you tend to lose that connection. So I would really challenge everybody to make sure that you are still relating with people, that you do find out that personal information, that about their kids, if they have kids, their age groups or their pets and what their motivators are, sports teams, perhaps hobbies or hot buttons, personality style, or all the normal things that should be going on. It's easy, I think, to just put a home in MLS and sell it, in most markets. And so, are you really connecting with people? So I really want to challenge us to still to relate with people on a personal level, and then also have empathy for them, and try to create empathy for yourself. Explain to them that whilst this is wonderful that we're so busy, it is new for us. It's a new experience. We are here to help you. I'm here to hold your hand, but please be patient with us as we go through growing pains. I know that you want a brand new home, just like everybody else seems to want one right now. We're building it for you, but could you, let's trust each other. Let's be patient. And if somebody trusts you, if they relate with you, like if I know about your family, as I do, and you have a wonderful family, I know a little bit about you. It's hard to get mad at you when something goes wrong, which it will go wrong. It's inevitable that things are going to happen. So Terry's talking on here about setting expectations up front, plan A and plan B, build on the relationships. Perfectly said.
That's perfectly said, because that's the key, so that foundation of everything we do is the relationship.
Right.
So I think we forget that that we think we're in the home building business, but that's not right. We're actually in the relationship business. And
there we go.
we lose sight of that, it's a problem.
people are going to turn in their grave when they hear this emotional stuff going on today. Some of these hardcore people, but yeah, that's exactly right. We have to remember that we're humans selling to other humans. We have to connect with them first and understand. Again, can you sell a home without doing it? Yes, all day long. You can get sales right now. It's not that hard. But can you keep the client happy? Are you going to create a great experience? Are you going to work with them? Are you going to get referrals a year or two from now because of the great experience, or are they going to be festering out there because it was nonstop tough
We
stuff?
don't want to damage the brand, and
Right.
I think that's part of, as builders, we kind of go through this. Well, and I think realtors do too a little bit, because I walk in both worlds, right? But I think that we think this market's going to last forever, and it's easy to do when you're dealing with all of this all the time, but it's not. And it's going to turn, and it's going to turn on a dime. It's going to be like somebody just turned the faucet off.
That's what happened. But yeah, I mean, if we talk through it, like what could cause it to change? So right now, interest rates are really low. Obviously, everybody knows that. I'm not telling what we know. What's different and better about this situation than 08, the Great Recession, of course, is that we have no supply right now. So whereas back then we had about 3 years, if you remember, especially in Florida, places like Tampa. Right.
I had builders that were like 5 years out on land, and I'm like, whoa, hold your roll there.
And buyers were flipping the flips, and anybody that had a pulse could fuck up a mirror could get a mortgage back then. So it was horrible. That's not happening. I think that if any, everyone's predicting the next year would be good, unless there's some kind of black swan event again. But no one's saying that they expect one. But I think interest rates, certainly, if you're going to increase money supply to the extent that is being proposed with infrastructure, whatever, and there's a lot more money. Whether you're for it or against it, I'm not getting into that, but just saying that might cause inflation, which could cause interest rates to go up. But if interest rates go up, I think we are going to see naturally some people just not be able to afford to get in the market anymore. And of course, the prices are getting so high, that combination of having to charge more, we can't help it, prices are going up, and then the interest rates knocking up 0.5% to 1% could suddenly cause people to stop and things. So you're right. So we're going to perfect our stuff now, our skills now, and get ready, and also save some money, because you never know. Please, Lord, give me one more. That's
one of those things, right, about new home sales. Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride, and that's one of the reasons it's hard to get into new home sales. But guys, the foreclosure forbearance that's going to come to an end at some point, and it is something that we're starting to talk about. I'm very active at the National Association of Home Builders, and that's
how does that impact this? I'd love to. About. Yeah, what do you mean in what regard?
So with the forbearance right now, we're artificially keeping foreclosures at bay and not allowing people to foreclose on their home who may have some financial issues. Right. So what you have this part of the population that's basically sitting in their home, rent and mortgage free.
Right.
And until something happens where the federal government changes its policy, they're going to sit there, because why not? And they can save the money right now. But once they start to hear, wait, this is changing. Right. Many of these people have lots of equity in their home, and rather than tack it on to the end of their mortgage, what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to sell. And they're going to want to sell as we get more confident with vaccines and get the pandemic under control. And that is going to back us back out of this high demand for home building. So that's more of that's something that is a real possibility that could happen very quickly, just with the stroke of a pen, with the administration. I mean, you just don't know when these things are going to change.
Well, right. Well, good. I mean, that's an interesting thing to talk about. I think that what you and I are saying, as are many experts, which is just be prepared. Just perfect your skills now. Don't cap any of your potential. You still need to follow up. We'll get into realtors and stuff. You still need all those relationships. Let's not take anything for granted. Let's really the G is for gratitude. Let's be very grateful that we're in this extraordinary situation where we're selling out so quickly. It's very entitled that your biggest complaint might be, well, I sold out. What I thought was going to take 2 years took me 3 months to sell out. You've got that backlog that you should be nurturing. Yes, it might be boring on a given Tuesday or Wednesday, but have a look at what you've accomplished there in that short period of time. So I think we tend to get into this rut thinking of, oh, it's terrible, what am I going to do next? Well, you've sold a whole bunch of homes. Go nurture those clients, make them feel good, hold their hand through the experience, so that everybody is happy at the end, and and be prepared for these things. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, we do this every day, right? On our side, and we think that everybody does it every day. And we get frustrated with our clients. We're like, well, I told them. I hear that all the time from people.
Right.
Well, I've already told them this. We've gone over it. Guys, you have to go over it over and over and over again. I built a home this year, or well, not this year, but in 2020, I built a home, and it's not for the faint of heart, people. It's knowing what I know about it helped me through it. But I still had a lot of questions, and I still really leaned on my salesperson, and God bless her. Can you imagine being Kimberly Mackey's salesperson? So shout out to you, Lisa Malone.
What is the name?
Lisa Malone.
I said Post Malone for a second. I said that.
No, not Post Malone. No, totally different thing right there. But
related to Post Malone.
Yeah, and Lisa, I've worked with her. I've worked with her mother. So I've worked with her company for years, and so yeah, I can't even imagine the trauma that must have gone into that. But we forget that we have to set these expectations, and it's kind of like voting in Chicago. So do it early and often.
Wow. Yeah. What I was going to say is undercommit, overperform. I think that you have to be mentally flexible, and things change quickly in new home sales, and we have to lean into that and embrace it and not be embarrassed about it. So what's Terry saying about buyers' expectations? They'll get better deal if they don't.
I had a feeling we were going to jump into real estate agents early in this conversation. So let's just go ahead and address it.
Yeah, let's save that, but I would love to talk about that. It's a very good question about if they don't work with a realtor getting a better deal. But what I was going to say is just undercommit, overperform. So if it used to take you 6 months to build a home, but it's 8 months, then say it's 9 months, for goodness sake, and give yourself some breathing room. If you get in at 7 or 8 months, the buyer's happy. But I think our tendency, and I used to do this too in sales, is I would be slightly hyperbolic perhaps and give them a time frame, which was a best case scenario. That is not a good idea based on what's going on. So make the sale anyway, even if it is 10 months, for goodness sake. And if you do it in 8 months, then that's a great thing. So undercommit, overperform. The other thing I wanted to, if I can mention, is to actually create a value statement for your builder as to why you're slowing down the pace of sales. And so that's something as a salesperson, right? Because as a salesperson, I think it's frustrating. Well, I've got all this land. Why can't I go out and sell it? Well, we sort of know why, because prices are changing on a dime, as you just said, with all these resins, I think it was, that are causing these things. But prices are going up, right? And then we are running out. And then if we build too many, then our quality will go down. So what I've encouraged them to do, and it's working, is to create a value statement, which is, look, yes, of course, we could sell as many homes as we could. However, we want to protect the value and the quality of your home, and therefore we're only allowed to build 2 a month, 3 a month, or we have a slot schedule that puts us out next March, but that's to protect the quality of your brand new home. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Kimberly, by the way?
It does, and I would go, guys, I'm all about getting real with the customers. So. Right. I tell them what's happening and say, we agree up front what our cost, what your price is going to be. Mm-hmm. But here's the reality of our market right now. We don't know what our cost is going to be for this price. So if we sell too far out, we could end up, losing so much money on this that it's detrimental, and it's to your interest that we're here to service our warranty. We're here to finish out this community. Good. And that we keep this community flowing and growing equity for you.
Nice.
So that our market, we have a higher responsibility.
Yeah.
And that I think people understand, but maybe don't know intuitively. We have to share it with them.
Right. And we have a solution for them, so that it's a good thing. We aren't just saying no, just sort of get in the queue and hopefully you'll get a home one day. But we're there are situations all around the country where builders are saying, look, you have to wait, and we're going to sell this amount of homes this month or whatever. But that's for all the reasons that you just shared, is to protect the quality, is to protect them. Builders can't predict what's going to happen to pricing, so you're going to only go out so far. So what would happen if they couldn't take care of the customer care that's all funded through that? So I totally agree. I think
and worst case scenario.
Say it again.
Well, worst case scenario, what if we had to go backwards on pricing? Nobody wants that. We lived that, right? In 2008, 9, and 10. We don't want to live that again. That's terrible. You know,
Right,
you pay,
right.
nobody wants to overpay for their home. So we don't want to have to guess too high
Right,
at what
yeah,
those costs are going to be. So,
right.
you know, it's very important if you're, for our sales managers who are on this call, if you're not educating your salespeople, bring in the purchasing people, bring in the companies, and really educate
Yeah.
your salespeople, because an educated salesperson can share this information with their backlog and with prospective buyers as well.
Right. And again, I think it's what we in sales we always do, which is to turn lemons into lemonade when we have to. Corny but true. And so, you know, in the eye or perception is reality, perhaps. So in the eye of the buyer, it's stressful, and you know they're not sure what they're getting. I think right now, brand new homes have an advantage against the resale market or used, in as much as you can come in guaranteed to get a home, guaranteed to, in some markets, to lock in a price.
Yeah.
I have a few builders where there's a few escalators in
There's
there.
escalators, yeah, so some have that.
But it's still stress free. So I know in most markets, if you're looking at a resale, you'll go out and you can make a full price offer, a full price agreement, and still get gazumped by other people. So there's no guarantee you're ever going to get that home. So I think it's a great time for buyers and realtors to understand, look, let's go visit that brand new home salesperson. At least there's a guaranteed home site, guaranteed price. We just have to wait a little bit longer. That's all. So can you give up 8 months of your life to enjoy the rest of your life in the home of your dreams that you've personalized the way you'd like it? Or do you want to get into that sort of rat race of competing over, you know, used homes that are going up in price irrationally, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a great time to be selling new homes, as long as we can understand the stresses and deal with it, explain it as we're saying, in a way that actually benefits the client. Look, you know, let's get out of that and come join us. It's harmonious and relaxing and stress-free and all those kinds of great things.
I don't know that we can promise stress-free, because there will be some, but if we set those expectations, like you said,
yeah,
you know, I think that really is going to make a big difference for the buyers. And then we continue to set those expectations. And
right.
you said something, Roland, that I really want to emphasize, because I don't want it to get lost in everything that we're saying.
Yeah, wow.
Buying a home is not a 5-minute decision.
Right.
You shouldn't be, people get caught up right now in this market, and they're overpaying for homes that will not appraise.
Right. Houses.
Houses. Yes.
They're used houses, as opposed to our brand new homes. Exactly.
Yeah. And you have to help that buyer to understand not to settle if they're going to spend this money.
Right.
Spend it on something that's going to be what they want and is not going to cause them years of heartache. Exactly. With remodeling and fixing and repairs, because people are, in order to get these deals, they're overpaying 30, 40, 50. I've heard $100,000 in some markets, and they're getting in bidding wars. And they're getting caught up in it. But then they're foregoing any inspection, so they don't know what damage has been done.
Is that right? Really? They're also desperate that they're just buying it as is and all that kind of stuff.
So they know it won't appraise, and they don't know what's hiding behind the walls. So
full common sense. Yeah, and it was like that. I remember in 04, 05, 06, I would go to grand openings. I would line up with my little check. I had to bring a cashier's check just to get in the queue, and you got abused by the bill. You know, you get it was just stressful. And then have a look at what happened. I think that's actually flipped now. Whereas in the resale market, for the first time I can remember, that market is in such a frenzy. The people are just losing all their common sense. They're so desperate to get into something that's available now that they are settling for something that's not in the right location, doesn't look good, doesn't have all the contemporary finishes they want, and it's overpriced. You know, that's going to come home to roost at some point. Whereas, look at what we present. Oh, a brand new home in a lovely neighborhood. You might have to wait a little longer and get in that queue, and then be called by your salesperson, say, okay, you need to come in now and sign an agreement. But you're picking out the home you want. You're normally getting to personalize it with the the Chip and JoJo finishes from HGTV, the stuff you actually want.
Yeah, well, so we got to have shiplap and everything now, right? So
looking for my shiplap. I love my shiplap. All right, sorry, I got too excited. But yeah, right now shiplap is amazing. Next week it'll be horrible. I have to take it down. But if you're buying a brand new home, you get all of that. So you have to wait a little bit longer, but you can lock in a price in most markets, or there's a cap of a certain number, but you actually end up at the end of it getting what you want. So I think it's a strong time for a salesperson to lean into what we have and not get, it's stressful, I get it, but not get concerned. And then understand that what can you do to improve the experience, both externally, internally. So externally with the clients, you can walk your homes, you can communicate, you can give them the benefits of taking longer to protect the quality and make sure that what they want is what they get. Internally, I think we have to support each other and understand that our construction team and our design teams are stressed, and how can we help them and not throw them under the bus? Because if the moment you throw your team under the bus to make yourself look better, not that we do it consciously, but it's something that people
doesn't make you look better. It just makes everybody uncomfortable.
That my builder sucks. Yeah, they're making mistakes. Well, that's not going to make the buyer feel good. They want to hear an apology. I'm so sorry. I'll look into it. We'll take care of you. As you know, we're building a lot more homes than we're accustomed to, but we are here to take care of it for you. And that's what they want, is a reassurance that the team is going to, coalesce around the problem and come up with a solution for them.
And speaking of that,
yes, ma'am.
How do we deliver bad news? This is a question that my salespeople are asking me all the time. We're always putting our head together. What are you sharing with your team when they're saying they need to deliver bad news and they don't like it? Most salespeople don't like it.
I think we have to define what bad news is. Is it a mistake? Is it a time frame extension? And then I think, as Terry said, actually, if you set that expectation that plan A is this, because you're buying a very popular thing, you the buyer are investing in a brand new home. Everybody seems to have decided that's what they want. So it might take longer. Mistakes might get made, but we will take care of it. So I think setting up that expectation and then being empathetic and direct are really important. You can't just say, we've made a mistake. It's, just sort of get over it. That would be horrible. But I'm so sorry. As we discussed, we have made a mistake. There has been a mistake. We are aware of it. We're taking care of it for you. We're on top of it. We're going to ensure that that wonderful quality home that you've invested in is what we deliver for you. So just please be patient or something like that. But there is no point in sugarcoating it. I think you really have to be direct with people and let them know that this is what's going on. But if you've created that empathy and trust at the beginning, where you actually know their kids' names and you know what their hot buttons are and what their fears are, so my fear is price changing and being told something today, and then I'm going to get a call in 3 months and you're going to change the game on me. No, so if you know that stuff ahead of time and that's in the file or on your CRM, then you can be prepared and have a meaningful and create a good experience. If you go into and treat everybody exactly the same, then you'll have a lot of bad experiences, I think. So what do you think?
I think you have to treat everybody as individuals, but also sometimes information, we like to attach good and bad and positive and negative. Sometimes information is just information.
Sure. Yeah.
And we have to be able to get out of our own head. So, if, especially like you said, when you have a relationship with people, information is just information. Don't build it up into something or anticipate that the buyer is going to react in a certain way that they may or they may not. It's just information, and just have a plan of, okay, this happened. Right. This is what we're going to do about it.
There we go.
And here's the result. And I have to talk through a lot of times with a lot of the salespeople because they sweat this stuff.
Sure.
And, I have empathy for that too, as a salesperson, because we love our customers and we feel very protective of them.
Right.
But sometimes we build it up in our own head and make it worse than it actually is. So by the time that I talk them into actually pulling the trigger and calling the buyer, and they're like, oh, well, they said, well, you told me this was going to happen. And,
exactly.
Okay, so you've got a plan. You're going to do something about, I'm good with that. Or
that's right.
Can we meet? Can we get together so I can see it and have a better understanding? As salespeople, we just don't need to always make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, so and I used to be that
my
guy.
Southern colloquialism.
I started selling in my early 20s, and I would avoid conflict like you couldn't believe. So I was that guy that had piles of things to do that I want to do the happy stuff. So I completely completely get it. But then as you say, I think I learned most of my stuff by sort of modeling on other great salespeople that I had the privilege of working with. And I would watch how they'd be very honest up front, very direct, and and they'd build trust. And when things happen, they would just be nice and direct. But what you did was important, and it's the name of your company as well, which is you actually presented a solution to it. You know, and I think that's what we forget is that we'll just say, you know, that this isn't going to happen as we planned, and then there's a pause. Well, what are we going to do? So it's going to be about 2 to 3 weeks later, or you have to come back in and pick out a different finish because that quartz is not available this month. But we have 3 or 4 that look really similar that have been really popular with our clients, and so please don't worry about it. We'll take great care of you. There is a nice way to couch that, but I think sometimes we actually forget to mention that there is a solution to this. It's just a never ending, because you know that unending fear of things not getting solved is what gets people stressed. You know, they'll lash out.
It does. Yeah, they do. And even if you don't know, what I can guarantee you is if you're worried about telling them about it today, it's going to be harder tomorrow.
Right. It's that one
because it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, what is it? A dollar of prevention leads to $10 of cost, and if you don't fix it at $10 level, it costs you $100 or something. So if we don't get them in early to be part of this solution, then it's just going to get worse in their mind. They're going to get more and more upset if you wait too long to tell them about something. No,
yeah, I mean, chaos will always fill a void. So
it's an interesting thought. Yeah,
yeah, it really will.
In their minds, at least.
In their minds, chaos will fill a void, and they will dream up things. So same thing works with sales people who are out in the field.
Yeah.
You know, and from the office standpoint, we don't always think to tell them what's happening and what's going on until it's like at the very end. And salespeople will fill in the blanks.
Yes,
and sometimes in a very creative manner. So again, chaos will fill a void. So just don't create the voids. You know.
Well, right, and I have one. I'll double down on that, which is, excuse me, let me scream. Action cures anxiety. So if you are getting stressed, you know, so if you're not quite sure as a salesperson, and most of us have been through this, I spent 10 years selling homes in a community. We sold over 2,000 homes, and then there was, I don't know what I was going to do next, kind of stuff. So I sort of get the anxiety with salespeople that they aren't really sure what's happening next. So I found if you take action on things, it cures anxiety. So if you have sold out for the month, think of things that you can do that are positive. So nurture your backlog of clients. Go walk the homes. We talk about that. Reach out to, we want to talk about realtors and the importance of realtors. Good ones like Terry and Lisa and others that we all know.
We've got some good ones on here. I see Don Kay, who's a legend on here. Right? So yeah, so good. Don, every new home salesperson in the Tampa market has heard of Don Kay. So I'm excited to have somebody from my hometown on here today. So
well, nice. No, we have some stars out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's an interesting conversation. I've spoken with my managers. Do we really need to nurture those realtors right now? Because look, you can sell something, you put an MLS when you want to, and a couple of days later, it's probably selling. But I think that's a very fickle approach to something, because those same realtors, as soon as the market slows down slightly, if you have those good relationships and haven't treated them badly, you can then call them and say, hey, we're starting up a whole new neighborhood over here. We'd love you to come out for a sneak preview or whatever it's going to be. But those same realtors can really feed you in a more normal to tougher market. So I think we have to remember that and not get so caught up in this. Well, do we need to pay a commission right now? Do we really need our realtors? And there's always going to be some that are not as good as others. We all know that, but I think it's a great time to use your time with those realtor outreach kind of things.
Well, and you don't need all the realtors. So this is what I've been saying. Establish relationships with those realtors that you want to have the relationship with, the educated ones, the ones that are raving fans, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I'm seeing that happen right now. We're going, we're cutting commissions. We're doing this, because we have some bad actors in as we always have. Yeah. So if they're snaking up your buyers in your parking lot, then no, these are not people we want to deal with.
Look, I'm probably not. I'm probably going to even regret going here, but I think that it's okay to have an open-minded conversation. If you're a realtor that actually represents builders, then or the market is selling out so quickly, you might have to be flexible with a little bit of flexibility with that builder to help them out, to be perceived as.
I agree. Yeah.
So it's a slippery slope. But I think that, look, if you're going to sell 100 homes and not 10 in a year, then maybe you can be realistic and work with those builders and help them out, and especially with costs going up and that fear of that. But that doesn't mean that you start working with realtors altogether. You have to get through these times together. And so that's a whole other conversation. Probably I don't really mean to start.
If you've got a VIP program, now is not the time to abandon it.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to scale back, but this is not the time to abandon your VIP program.
Right.
Nurture those relationships, because relationships are not about fair weather.
Right.
They are there in good times and bad.
And if you can educate realtors and have them, and bring them in and teach them how you want them to sell when they come in, bring your clients. I've got great salespeople that will take your buyers through the process. We will keep them involved. You are valuable. We do appreciate you. But, our new home salespeople are the experts on construction. So they typically will help your clients to guide. But we also want your help to nurture that client. There's going to be longer wait times now. So if we can team up and collaborate to create a good experience, then that's going to be ideal. So
that's value. Yeah. And you have to keep that realtor in the loop. You can't just leave them out of it. So again, if you're creating a video, send it to both of them.
That's true. I never thought about that, but it's great, because if the realtor starts getting mad at you and then making the client angry and threatening to do stuff, that's not helpful. So I think you really have to recognize you're on the same team with that realtor and work with the same goal. And that maybe is a way that they can feel like they're really earning their whole commission or their professional fee. What is it? Fee for professional service?
Their fee for service. Yeah. And it should be a fee for service, because there should be service. So Terry asked the question, and will I get a better deal if I don't use a real estate agent? That's the age-old question.
Right.
You're cutting, in most of our markets, about 60% of your business is coming from real estate agents that are legit the procuring cause. I'm not talking about those who are coming in after the fact. If you have a registration policy, if you don't, I'm happy to help you create one. It's a very easy process to create a broker registration form and enforce it.
Oh, right.
And that way, you've got your policies in place. Put that out there. Put it on your website. Teach your customers how you work with realtors and the importance of realtors, so you don't end up in these disputes. Again, when we set the expectations, when we don't have to have a firestorm trying to manage it. So when you do that in advance, I think we should always be managing our broker registration policy and expectations with that, and then not allowing things that shouldn't be, and then we don't feel bad about writing that check. So just today I had a realtor tell me that her client is requesting 50% of her commission back if they contract with a build. Then just because here's what I tell my realtors: just because they fog a mirror doesn't mean they're your buyer. So you fire them.
Again? I had a realtor tell me the client is requesting 50% of her commission. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So what services is that realtor? What is that realtor's unique selling proposition?
Yeah.
What does she do to earn her fee?
Right.
And if she doesn't believe in it, or he or she doesn't believe in that, then maybe they need to refine their service offering so that they do, because they should earn a fee for service.
Right.
Real estate commission is not a bonus.
Right.
It's just how realtors get paid.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. With these long lag times of construction, that realtor being involved and earning their that fee is really important. They can communicate, come out, and take pictures, inspect, help the client feel better, let them know that it is normal, that it is going to take longer, but it's worth waiting, because you're going to get an amazing home that you love for the rest of your life if you just sort of go through this extra couple of months than what a few months longer. So I agree. I think that now is a great time for new home salespeople to really collaborate with those realtors and vice versa, and make sure that we're thinking. I guess it's like if the parents are arguing, either one could be right, but the kids are getting stressed out, and I think if the realtor's arguing with the new home salesperson and vice versa, the clients are thinking, I'm caught in the middle of something weird here. I just want a beautiful home at the end of all of this. So let's get alongside each other and work together. I think it's perfect time. So yeah.
I think our on-site people, I always said, if I have a formula that I continue to teach. 25 times 2 is 50. So 50 sales a year before walk-in traffic. The easiest way to get there, salespeople, is through realtors by having 25 realtors who are going to bring you 2 deals a year. That's 50 sales. So I understand 50 sales, not a big deal in this market. It will be in tomorrow's market.
It
will
depends
be.
on the value range. Yeah. I mean, so, some salespeople just
Sure.
can't get there because they're selling homes.
Oh yeah, they're working for a builder who can't produce that because they're doing multi-million-dollar custom homes, and it's a longer process.
Yeah, I think converting that amount of people through the process that could buy based upon other things is very reasonable. What is this question from Kerry again? Because my eyesight without glasses.
So it says another situation is buyers are asking if they do not bring a Cobroke, if we'll give them a Cobroke fee.
Right.
No.
Kerry was asking, I think.
Yeah, no. So my answer to that has always been, not just that's not how we work, is that we build into our budget a marketing budget, and as part of that we pay realtor commissions. So it's already built into the price of every home, and it's across the, it's not a one-on-one scenario. So we don't add 3% to the price of our home. It's built into our operating budget for the community. So no, we are not going to give you that money back. So thanks for asking, but this is a seller's market, and you're welcome to go and play in it if you'd like. But we're not discounting anything right now.
Miss, I'm getting excited by all the things you're saying here. So, but yeah, what we teach, and if you have to say no and saying no nicely, or I think it's a Ritz-Carlton concept, but always tell them what they can have instead, and instead of that. So, and it may sound corny, it's not going to be what they want to hear, but it's the same thing, for example, that, can you negotiate? Well, we don't negotiate, because how would you feel if others moved in and got a better deal? We're giving our best price first. Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to get a better deal, but I do understand what you're saying. You're saying no with benefits. Really. So I think we have to have a no with benefits approach and go, no, thank you for bringing it up. It is a common thought, but we really value our realtor population, our realtor friends we work with. They provide great service. It is factored in as a marketing fee, but we will ensure you that we give you the very best value, and that you'll move in the schedule that, we'll get as close to that schedule, whatever it's going to be. Tell them what they can have instead. Don't leave it hanging, even though we're in Florida with hanging chads. You can't leave it hanging out there with no, it's just no. I would like to always replace it with, but however, we will make sure that you are getting the best value. Look at this. If you're locking in prices now, with having all these price increases, our builder's able to lock in a price and give you this time frame. So that's a good, whatever you can do, get them focused on the good things you can do, and not caught up in this one negative idea that I want to get the commission back because I don't have a realtor and I should be able to get it. What is Paul?
Paul's
Colorado.
Hey, Paul, look at that. Yeah,
Colorado. Hey, Paul.
But he's right. You can't position from you're not going to benefit if you don't have an understanding of your own unique selling proposition.
Yes. Well,
so your team needs to know what to say, and you need to rehearse this. You need to, I'm going to use the word role play, Roland.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I did it.
It's roly play. You gotta
roly play in your case. So what's Paul telling us here? So
no, you don't negotiate from a position with a lack of data. He's exactly right. He's very analytic, Paul. He's very good. Most customers fall short of supporting that negotiation position with data or data. Saying that better, data.
So you say it any way you want to. With that accent, you're allowed. So I always compensate with my Southern accent every time I talk with you. So
come on. I can say. All right, back to Paul.
Yeah, but it's knowledge. You're right, Paul. And knowledge is strength. And each salesperson, I see salespeople stumble over this question, because good markets, bad market, that's a question they're always getting. Right. So you just have to know what your answer is. This is something you're going to get. So address it.
And just make them feel better about what they're doing right now. This is a slice of time. You're stopping the clock today. When you go ahead, if you have a builder that does lock in the price, some builders it can go up by 3%, whatever that is, whatever your formula is. If you go ahead, when you go ahead now, you can lock in the price. Let me show you the price increases that we're having, and you can talk about buying power now. On my app, your buying power will never be stronger than it is right now. Thanks to whatever the prices are today and these crazy low interest rates, you can lock that in. If you wait and don't go ahead, have a look at what's going on. So the whole notion of having a realtor or not having a realtor really becomes moot, I hope. But what Paul is saying is really interesting, because I know that I suffered from this when I was as a sales director with Terry there a few years ago. was that I didn't realize where these offers were coming from. But then I looked on Zillow and I realized that we hadn't been updating our homes correctly, and our Z estimates were terrible for our house. They were even, some of them were even just vacant land, and people were thinking, well, I'll give you this, but no, they were making up offers, but it's because the only way they were arriving at a value was not an educated way. Is my point. So if you're not coaching them through that and explaining, and again, I think that's where a realtor could have real value in explaining, look, this is what the market is today. This is what's happening to prices. So no, we aren't going to negotiate, and I'm going to help you get the best value. But even locking in the price today is a great value. The builders it's a fixed price. The builders are taking on that risk. That's a lot that they're doing, knowing that they might not live in the home for 10 months to a year. So I think that needs to replace that feeling of loss of, well, I wanted to get the commission back, or I want to split the deal with you, or some crazy thing there.
Yeah. Educate. I can't stress it enough. I've got probably about 50 who are going to be going through a class with me at the end of the month. And realtors want to be educated. This is an opportunity for you to create the realtor of tomorrow, the realtor that you want to work with, not the ones that maybe are giving you a little bit of agina. So,
And how many do you actually need? I mean, I agree. I had this one gentleman who I don't think is selling anymore. His name is Steve Feldman. I had 18 sales. I was, frontline in new home sales, and I got him the first week. He became an agent. His broker said, go have coffee. Go have coffee with Roland. He'll show you around. He did. He brought me a client. We sold a home together within a couple of weeks of him getting licensed. I had 18 sales with that one agent, in a period of about 3 years.
And how great is that? And you develop a shorthand,
Yeah, if you have 10 of those, 10 Steves, I mean, that's all you really need, 10 people at that level. But
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we're getting to the top. We're at the top of the hour. So just a couple of, what are your final thoughts here that you want to share?
What are my final thoughts? Be grateful. If this is the biggest problem that we have, my good, we're healthy. Everybody on this call is, I'm presuming has got that decent health. Just be very grateful that the biggest problem we have is one of entitlement, that we're dealing with the stress of being too busy and too successful. Focus on the fact that what we're doing is providing lifelong dreams of a home to some people, to our clients. I mean, that's a wonderful gift. I've driven by farms. I've driven by farms, and now they're neighborhoods with kids riding bikes and people walking their dogs, and they're out. And I thought, I have a part of that. What I did was very real. We're providing shelter. So, on your worst day, I think you need to look in the mirror and say, so well, I have a great position. What I'm doing is positively impacting people's lives. Let's just get through this and be grateful and not give in to these negative temptations to blow things up too much. What do you think?
That attitude of gratitude will get you through anything. Try to find the positive, try to find that thing to be grateful for. Even in the worst customer that you're dealing with, find that thing that you can hold on to and be really appreciative of them. But plan, guys. I know it's so hard to do when we're so slammed, but if you have a plan, you work the plan, you let your system work for you. True. It makes your life so much easier. And we've been singing this, and we said last year during the slowdown when none of us knew what was going to be happening, that was the time to build your plan. Well, the reason for that is because now you need it. So I would say to you the same thing. Today, now is the time to build your plan, and so that your customer experience is up there and you're not damaging your brand, and you're building on that. Whether you're building 1 home a year or 100 homes a year or 1,000 homes a year or 100,000, doesn't matter. You've got to build on that brand.
And don't stop having fun. You have to nurture and nourish yourself. So go be around the people that make you happy. Positive people, positive experience. Do more of that, and don't get caught up in the weeds of sort of negativity. You need to look at each day and make sure that, as stressful as it can be, that you're turning it around into a positive experience for others and for yourself. So focus on staying positive.
Yep. Absolutely. We'll do whatever it takes for that. So I want to thank you, Roland, for giving of yourself today and being part of the conversation. It's always fun to talk to you. And
likewise.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you for inviting me. I hope it was a conversation. I wanted to make sure that I work hard on listening and so that I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you.
So I definitely enjoyed it. And thank you to all the people who
Yep.
joined us today. We had a great group. And if you do have more questions, Roland's email will be in the follow-up email that'll come to you from Zoom. We'll have the link for the video, and reach out to either of us. We're both here to help you any way that we can. So you guys have a great day.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you. And